great friend to America, Congressman Andy Biggs from Arizona. Congressman, hope you're doing well today.
Yes, Todd. Thanks. Hope you are too.
You know, I am. We've been talking for a good chunk of the show today about this story out of Idaho. I don't know if you saw this video. The mom getting arrested for trespassing because she took her kids to a public playground, and they had hundreds of people out there in Idaho protesting at City Hall last night. You know, by and large, I think the American people are getting a little fed up right now with what's been happening with these local and state governments.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen the truism that when people get a little bit of power, they almost immediately begin to abuse it, and so we've seen a lot of abuses with this stuff. And I'll just tell you, I actually asked one of my staffers the other day. I said, "Can you start making just a real list?" And he's still working on it because there's so many examples of our constitutional rights being trampled upon, just like this poor woman in Idaho. And you, I mean, you just think of the family in Colorado a week, 10 days ago. They're at the park. And all of a sudden 3 police officers show up. Of course, none of them have any social distancing skills going on there. And I actually had a constituent in my district tell me about her daughter and granddaughter just playing in a park. Hey, look, they're cooped up. You got a 4 or 5 year old kid. They need to get out. They go to the park. Nobody else is there, and you got these people wanting to call the cops on them for being out in public. This is just absurd.
And of course, we've seen the governor of Georgia, and he seems to be the one that the mainstream media has targeted here. Brian Kemp, a Republican, one of the 3 southern states, South Carolina, Tennessee, deciding they're going to reopen for business, and they're almost accusing the governor of putting people in harm's way by reopening things. And my question here, Congressman, I mean, when exactly do these people want the country to reopen?
Well, they don't want it to reopen. I mean, because I've heard people saying they want to stay closed till 2022. For Pete's sakes, they fundamentally don't understand rules of economics. So if you stay closed, the longer you stay closed, the more likely that we go into full-on depression. The more people who are unemployed, more people lose their life savings when their small businesses collapse. More people lose the value of their IRAs, their pension funds. You know, like it doesn't matter whether you're in a business or not. They invest in the market, believe me, and they have pensions. And so if you work for a company that has a pension fund, it's probably down in value. They don't appreciate that. But I tell you what, you know who else said they're going to open up? Jared Polis, governor of Colorado, said he's going to open up on May 1st. I would rather see him do it sooner, but you know what? He said they're going to open up with bars and restaurants too, and just say, look, be smart on the social distancing. That's called freedom. That's called freedom, Todd.
No, you know what? You're right, Congressman, and it troubles me when I see these attacks on civil liberties around the country. We were talking on yesterday's show about the people in North Carolina getting in trouble for going surfing in the Atlantic Ocean. I think sooner or later the American, and this is a serious thing here, they better be very careful because the American people will rise up and they will fight back.
Yes, they will, and you're seeing the nascent movement where people are showing up and protesting. Because they're telling the truth. I mean, they're losing their jobs, they're losing their businesses, and they want to get out there. And they know that if I can go to the Home Depot or Lowe's or Target or Walmart or the grocery store, or if I can go to a restaurant and I can somehow socially distance myself and be mature enough to respect the rights of others and not want to spread disease, etc., why can't I open up my furniture store or my curio shop or the hobby shop or the bookstore or anything else? This is the absurdity of this. And do you know what else is the absurdity? That we have people that feel they need to go in and protest in order and ask for permission to exercise their constitutional rights.
It's absurd. It is just absolutely absurd. Congressman, real quick, work goes on outside of the pandemic, and you have been leading a bipartisan effort to help our veterans with the Veterans Caregivers Act. Tell our listeners what's going on here.
Well, what we have is too many times you have a caregiver that can't get access to medical records of a veteran that needs a caregiver, and so we're trying to facilitate this so that the veteran can get the care they get that they need, and that the caregiver can receive their medical records and help that veteran get the care they need. And this is we've expanded the definition of caregiver a little bit to make that more realistic to what's happening, and we're also providing coverage, so that way the Veterans Administration knows that they can provide this help and assistance, and the caregivers can get what's necessary. This is, I think, really common sense, and it's a lot of support from both sides of the aisle.
And I'm very excited to hear that. Congressman, keep us updated on this. We have a lot of veterans and a lot of caregivers who listen to this radio program, and I know this is going to be a big issue for them.
Yeah, we'll keep you in the loop, Todd, for sure.
All right. Congressman Andy Biggs, ladies and gentlemen. Congressman, thank you.
Thanks, Todd.